excited for these guests. These are our first guests for We Schools Live today. Longtime supporter, We supporter, Bailee, Madison, and from New Hope Club, Blake Richardson. Yay! It's so good to see you. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for
We're
having
so
us. Thank you
happy
very
to
much.
be here.
Yeah, this is
I
so
miss
cool.
being, I know I miss being like actually there and in the stadium and hearing everybody, and it's like the most inspiring day, but listening to you just talk and the intro, I still got like the same goosebumps before walking on stage. So we're thrilled to be here.
You know, it's cool. I just have been closing my eyes and remembering what that stadium feels like and that electric
Yeah.
energy of all the young change makers, and that's what I'm channeling today. And I'm even a little bit nervous, like I usually am when I go on stage.
When it said on deck, I was like, oh no. I was like,
Exactly.
it's happening. Yeah. At least
So
I
how
can't
are you
fall
guys?
now.
There is that. We are in the safety of our chairs. So how are
Yeah.
you guys doing today? How are you feeling?
Blake?
I'm feeling all right. Yeah, I'm feeling good. It's been a nice day. The sun's out in England. Worked on a bit of music. Spoke to Bailee. That's about it, really. That's all that's happened today. But it's
It's a
been
good day
nice.
so
Feels
far.
good.
It's been a good day. Yeah,
Yeah.
good day.
It's Yeah, it's been good. I've been looking forward to this just because realistically, in this time of year, I would be with you guys at one of the shows. And it really is one of the things that I look so forward to doing, and always, as many as I can try to make, I'm always trying to be there. And so it was bittersweet even when the lockdown happened, because that clicked in my mind like, oh man, what are we going to do with We Days? And I'm just so grateful that you guys are still doing this, and we have the technology and the means to still get to connect and be with each other. And I think now more than ever, a We Day like this could not be more needed. So just feeling happy and humbled that we're able to talk and see you, Liz, and see some of our friends behind the scenes too. So glad to be here.
You know, on behalf of the We family, we love you both. So thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be with us. Now it means so much to those around the world who are watching us right now. Now, we couldn't start without congratulating both of you for the New Hope Club music video that came out on Friday for Worse. Gosh, this is such a fun video. And I love that you directed it, Bailee. Congratulations. An adventure. So could you tell
Yeah,
us what happened there?
we just had one day. How many hours, Blake?
12 hours.
12 hours to do 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s and get it all filmed.
One
But yeah,
day.
I'll let Blake touch upon that. I know, yeah, which is crazy. And it
Yeah.
was I think that was the intensity when we were, location scouting, and Blake produced it, which was so amazing to get to kind of go on that journey together. I've produced before, but I've always wanted to direct, and so he was the one who brought that up to me, which I was so grateful for. So we're able to do it as a team, which was so great. But it was the best kind of stress ever. Blake, how was it for you?
I found the whole thing so exciting. I'll be honest. Like, it's the first time we were ever like hands on with a music video from the start to finish. So obviously we've had like input in the previous music videos where we've like gone in a direction of where we sort of want it to be. But this was like the first time where from like the word go, we were choosing the concept, like the treatment, to doing the budgets. So when it was all kind of over and now it's out, it's kind of like such like
It's
a
bittersweet.
anti like the yeah, it's like so kind of weird to now everyone's
Yeah.
seen it. Now it's out just like
Because
that.
and
And
Yeah.
I think what people don't know either is it's not just one day of filming. Blake and I, the conversation started almost 4 months before we even got to the shooting day. So it's been like a months of like conversations and 6-hour phone calls, and he's in the middle of a radio tour and he's on calls with me, and I'm location scouting, like sending him pictures, and there was so much love that went into it that I think we're both really proud of it, and I'm so thankful I got to take that step with Blake and George and Reese and the boys. It made it extra special for me, so I'm grateful.
Congratulations. I mean, you should be so proud of yourselves that you were able to bring both of your powerful minds together and create this masterpiece. You've got this evidence of this really rad music video that is out into the world.
Thank
And
you.
for those of you who have not seen the music video, after this We Live, you should go to
After.
YouTube and watch it after
Yes.
this. Yes, please, after.
Please do. You might see some like
Yeah,
familiar faces too. We have like the Wizards cast and Coach Bolton. We've got some fun friends that came on to
cool.
make it extra special. So yeah, it's like a little hide and seek game.
So, what's it like seeing the response to this video, knowing what you had to go through to create it, and then seeing fans react? And I know you guys have been doing some kind of interactive questions and Q&As on your Instagrams as well.
Yeah, I think it's like so cool to see like how many messages we've got saying like how happy it's made people and how like, how it's made people's days. And obviously being in such a crazy time right now, I think it's so cool that we can at least like bring some happiness and joy to their lives and their days by watching a video and bringing some new music, because at least music is always something that gets people dancing or makes people feel better. So I hope that it's just really nice to see all the lovely comments and and obviously for us as well, like going through so much hard work and finally receiving comments that are like, oh, this is actually good, because it could have gone either way. It could have been like we could have thought it was so good and then it just like, this is probably the worst New Hope Club music video ever, but it's been the opposite, which is good.
Cool. All right. Well, after working so intensely on this project together, and I know your schedules are all over the place, how have you guys adapted to being thrust into this long distance version of your relationship? Blake, you're in England. Bailee, you're in LA.
I'm in LA right now. Yeah.
I mean, how do you practice compassion towards one another? How do you stay connected? How does that look?
Blake, you want to go first? You want me to go first? That's a part of the compassion, you just communicate. Yeah. See that little communication we just did? Always give it a chance. You can go first.
I mean, obviously we're lucky to live in a time where we have FaceTime and video calls and we can even do live streams like this. So obviously it's not as hard as if we were in like the 1950s or something like that. But I think the main thing is just, communication, talking to each other. We talk to each other every day and pretty much through the day as well. Like we've all got work to do during the day, but there's times where you take like 5 minutes, and that little 5 minutes is just like so important to just like catch up with a person. Because even if we were out working every day, I'm not spending every second with Bailee, but like if I come home for like 5 minutes, can at least like have a conversation, then go back out, or then she goes back out. So I think like the little conversations and just the reminders are like the most important thing, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think, the funny thing is the long distance aspect, it wasn't like it just happened because of what's going on in the world. Pretty much from the moment we were like, all right, let's do this, like we didn't see each other for, over 2 months. And so I think there's a weird blessing that comes with it, because you're able to learn what the other person needs instantly, and you're able to enhance that communication and that honesty and that trust. However, none of us have ever experienced a time like this. And I think if anyone's watching right now, whether you're separated by your significant other, but whether you're separated from, your parent or a family member, it is so normal to have these little feelings that might not feel, that feel so much bigger in your head and you don't really know how to deal with it. And so that's where I feel like the communication does come into play. There's no right way to react. There isn't an ask for communication that is kind of too big in this moment, because I think we're all learning what this is like. And in a time when you're locked up in your home, you're craving the comfort of the person that makes you feel safe as well. And so if you can't have that, I think it's just, the reminders, the little check-ins, the hi, I'm thinking of you, I'll see you when this is over, not sure when that'll be, maybe next year, and you try and make a joke about it. And I think, going that extra mile than you would typically go, and realizing that it's okay to do that right now, because, we're in such an unknown period of time where now more than ever, I think we need that, you need your people, your person by you, whether that's through a phone or, in person.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you say that, because something that you just said sparked this idea of like, we're all feeling that in some capacity, whether we're even separated from our good friends that, you can't go to school and you can't see them, and or your loved ones or your family, or you can't see your grandparents or whatever it is. Everyone's kind of going through this distance, whether you're in a different country or not.
Exactly. My sister ended up getting thankfully not a bad case, but she was, positive for corona, and she lives 4 minutes up the street from me. And as a sister, the first thing you want to do with something like that is, oh my gosh, I want to go over there, and you can't. And I haven't seen her in, a month and a half, and that's been like a crazy thing for me. And I also think that there's that added stream if you can't see someone and something like this is going on, your immediate head goes to, but how can I protect you if something isn't right too? So that's a whole other level of fear with like the communication is like you just want to have that person sat there and be like, all right, you're safe, I'm watching you, you're okay. But if you can't have that, that's also really difficult too. So just
Yeah.
practicing, the compassion and the love, like you guys are saying today, which is so great.
Yeah. Well, I did long distance with my husband for 6 years, and here we are
Oh,
in the same house. So you guys hang
there
in
you
there.
did it.
You got this.
6 years.
Um, so obviously a lot has changed in the last few months, but some things haven't changed at all. So what do you think is important for us to keep with us from before this distancing even began?
Blake's talking to his mom.
Sorry, I
Communicate
missed
with your
you.
That's
parents.
okay. Communicating with your
I missed
parents,
your
yes.
question. I
Yes,
apologize.
very important. Blake, what are some things that we can take on before this whole thing happened to remind ourselves while we're going through this? I think.
Uh, take on. What do you mean?
Well,
Well,
okay,
Liz said
so
it
so
better.
Blake,
Liz.
yeah, so
Sorry, I'm really lost right
I'll
now.
just rephrase the question. Don't even worry. This is the magic of this live conversation. Um, so obviously, there's been a lot of change in the last few months, but some
Yeah.
things haven't changed. So what do you
Right,
think
right,
is
right.
important for us to keep with us from before this distancing even began? Like something that you were doing before this that you're kind of taking in, that we need to keep doing throughout this distancing.
Um, I think, I mean, for me personally, like just always creating. I'm always creating new things like music and songs and stuff. So for me, that's my escape and my way of like taking up time because it feel like, right now you feel like the day is so long. So I always think being
Mhm.
creative takes up the most time. So for me, it's like writing songs, but whether that's like drawing for you or coming up with new ideas of whatever it is, like if it was Bailee, maybe like a new film idea, or if you're into drawing a new picture, or I don't know. For me, being creative is like the number one thing. I always think that it's so amazing to like always like try and create something and finish it, and doing stuff like that. I think is so nice.
Mhm.
That's the thing I would say I've not stopped doing. I've
That's a
also
great
not
answer.
stopped sleeping, and I think
Yeah.
sleep is a great one as
It
well.
is. We
He
need our
really,
bodies
he
need
really
rest.
Yeah, they do. They do. They do. And I guess the all like the side like mental health aspect of it, if we're gonna, maybe slide that in there, is, because you can't leave your house, or maybe you can, or just if you check your phone, like I don't know, maybe if anyone out there is like me, like I went through a couple days where I just couldn't check the news, and I'm like my heart is a big feeler, so I don't have to personally be involved in something to like read something and just have it completely like as if I was there. And so I kind of took a moment off my phone, and then I went back on it, and it just brought me down again. The next morning I was like, I don't want to get out of bed, I don't want to get sit outside, even like in my backyard, and like all these thoughts were going. I think, the challenge is reminding yourself of the positivity that you had waking up every morning before this happened. Thanking every single day that you're safe and you're healthy to take care of your body, whether it's an Instagram live workout or whether you want to bake something new. I think just checking in with yourself like you would usually do before all this happened. Now more than ever, it's so important to do that.
And remind yourself to be
Yeah,
compassionate towards yourself in all of those things,
Yeah.
It's okay
Yeah.
to be selfish right now. It's okay to be compassionate. Take time for
Yeah.
yourself and not just spreading it out. Blake, I love what you just said about being creative and stuff. So what advice do you think you would give young people who may want to create and express themselves through art during this time, but might not like really know where to go for that or where to even
yeah.
start?
Yeah, I mean, it can be from like if you've got, like some houses have just like an old piano that their grandfather used to play, or if there's like an old guitar in the garage or whatever it is, or, you know, even if there's like a pencil, just learn how to draw like your favorite Disney character, or, just little things, you'll suddenly just like become obsessed with doing these things and getting better at it. And I've always found that, you know, if I try and draw something, it's not good enough, I'll then throw it away and I'll redraw it and everything. But it's fine to like keep all of it and show your progress through the whole quarantine and all this kind of stuff. Because once it's over, you can maybe go like, oh, I've actually learned a skill through all of this. I've learned how to, and you'll be so proud of yourself to be like, look how far I've come in all that time. And you can even carry that on and maybe make that your future in whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, for me, it's music, but I love drawing. Abby, my sister, never draws and now has become obsessed with drawing like characters and stuff like that. And she just loves it for just like a side thing to do and take time out. I just think it's really important because like I said before, the day is so long. I know like so many people are always on their phones and stuff, even like when they work and things like that. But when you've got a full day off of no work, it's so easy to sit the full day just scrolling through Instagram and judging other people and saying like, oh, they've got a better quarantine than me. But realistically, we're all
Blake
stuck in this.
And I was like, look at those couples together. That is just ridiculous. We had to stop that very early on.
No, but like it's true. Like everyone's living a different quarantine, whether they live on a farm and you live in like a housing estate or whatever it is. Like everyone is still just staying at home, and I think it's so easy to get like so invested in other people's lives and how they might be doing this on their day and you might be doing just staying inside. But just know that like, it's fine, it's normal to feel weird, but just like try and take time to actually speak to people in person, like your family, and like whether it's playing ball games, whatever. Just don't get invested in social media, because if I spend too much time on social media, it like ruins my day big time. So I would just be careful of like giving yourself a time amount on it and not like overdoing it. It's really like laggy. Is it laggy for you guys?
It's a bit laggy.
Is it?
It's not laggy for us. Is it kind of like you're living in a?
It's kind of like a box man.
But that was a really great answer, Blake. Seriously, thank you. That was a really beautiful answer, and I think you're so right. Sometimes it's really easy to fall into the trap of social media. There are so many positive things about it, but then there are the downfalls, and I think it's very easy to slip into them. And the comparison game is one we all struggle with, whether you're a confident person or not. It's really tough. Now, Bailee, what about you? Any tips on staying creative and how to start creativity?
Blake he's been so helpful with that in a sense, because for most of my life, it's been pretty much a schedule. And I think, Blake recently in the last few years as well. And so I've never had this much quiet time, so to say, with myself. Usually it's like if I had something that was upsetting me or I needed to deal with, I would have someone pull me in a different direction and not have time to touch upon that. Whereas in a time like this, I have all the time in the world. And so it's been balancing the keeping myself healthy aspect, and then also keeping myself, busy and doing new things. So when Blake was here before we went to London, he got me on, Manchester. Sorry, Blake. He got me on the art vibe, and we were painting, and he's so great. I was like trying to draw Olaf, and he ended up looking like a raccoon. And so like I'd be like throwing the papers. But that was really therapeutic. And personally, I have a hard time with when things like this happen as well, feeling really helpless and like I'm not doing anything, and I wish that there was something that I could do to try and make even just a little bit of a difference. And that's been like a struggle, and so that's why I'm so glad we're all here. But if anyone's watching, I mean, we're talking to change makers. We're talking to kids that, when they are in school and when they come to We Day, like their sole purpose is, what can I do to make this world a better place? I might be young, but that doesn't mean I can't make a difference. And so I have a feeling that some of you guys watching this are probably feeling the same way. Like, what can I do when I feel like this is so much bigger than me? And it's been so inspiring to see people, taking notes on their apartment doors for, elderly people in their homes and saying, can I get you anything? Or here's DVDs that you can watch if you want to. People are making homemade masks and, giving them out. I've been fostering puppies, which has given me company, but also making me feel like there was something that I could do and get these dogs a home that they deserve. So that aspect has been really helpful, I think, for myself. Now I'm just full frozen.
Oh, it's okay. I can see both of you. You're good. Don't worry.
Okay, good. Good, good. So if anyone is watching out there, still raise your voice. I mean, you can feel inspired and create change, especially right now. So figure out what that is and what you want to say, and let's just all kind of be there and lean on each other as much as we can, and have these conversations and take those little steps that we can make right here and right now to try and put a smile on someone's face just a little bit. I feel like
Well, you both put a smile on my face, and I'm sure
you too,
many
Liz.
others today. Thank you guys so much. I feel like we're having conversation with our friends right now. You're
I
in your
know.
bedroom, you're at your house, I'm in my basement. This is
Love
this is
it.
really nice. Thanks for making us feel connected, and for all of your insight on this. Showing compassion is such an important thing, and you guys are doing it so beautifully. So thank you very much. We will talk to you soon. Stay
Thank you.
connected.
Thanks
Tell
for
your
having me.
Stay
Thanks,
thank you.
Bailee.
safe, and we'll talk to you
Bye,
soon. Thank
guys.
you
Be safe.
again.
Tell
Bye,
your
guys.
husband we
Bye
said
bye.
hello. Bye,
I will for
guys.
sure.
Bye,
Bye.
Vijay. Love
Bye.
you.
Okay, so I am so glad to speak with Bailee and Blake. I mean, they just warmed my heart.